What's going on, everybody? I'm just gonna get straight into it. So I've been seeing a couple people basically react to the courtside report 2K dropped 2 days ago at this point. I just wanted to quickly give my thoughts and I guess kind of react to what they're talking about. You know, the hype is coming back again. You know what it's gonna be. But let's get into it real quick. First thing on the list, rewarding skill-based gameplay. Okay, this is big. Talking about green or miss. Green or miss is back. And competitive atmosphere, so I'm assuming that's going to be pro-am. What else? Alright, regardless, green and miss is back, that's a dub. Shot meters and dunk meters both show you the true green window, that's a dub. Seen in 2K24. In addition, layup timing is currently enabled to separate. Before I even finish that sentence, that's some BS, bro. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you think. Layup timing in NBA 2K is a top 5 worst idea in the past 10 years. Any new mechanic 2K has integrated in the past 10 years, with the exception like maybe 2, have been terrible. And that's a top 5, maybe top 10. Layup timing is so dumb because layups aren't the meta in 2K. I don't care what you're talking about in 2K24, the floaters, 2K22, the floaters, that's not a layup. That's effectively a jump shot. That's effectively a pull-up. I could take the same shot, get the same amount of points, and almost have the same animation time as that animation floater would take to play out as just doing a pull-up. But the layups themselves, having that much time is stupid. Because what comes from that is you have players who are going to be wide open on the fast break, they're going to forget their layup timing, and they're going to smoke a wide open lane. The easiest shot in basketball. All layup timing is done is punish people for taking good or very simple shots because the contest system's broken. The game isn't built to justify having a layup timing meter in the game. Half the time we miss easy layups just because the contest system's broken. There'll be some big man behind us in our general vicinity. There'll be a big man in the paint. He's not even putting his hands up. He's just there, and they get a contest. And because of that, we have to time the layup in the green window, and we smoke it. In real life, that's an effectively wide open layup. That's the same as putting the ball on glass in practice. Nobody's going. But in 2K, it's just, it doesn't work like that. And on top of that, you have the other factor that because dunks are more competitive, people are going to be going for contact dunks again because the dunk meter is back with true green window. So guess what? The dunk meter is going to be more competitive. It's probably going to be a run and dunk and 3-point method again. So people are going to be going for these contact dunks for the most optimal dunking animation so they can avoid getting bodied up by defense. And what's going to happen is there's going to be someone in the paint or someone kind of in the vicinity because the contest system still sucks. And their dunk that was going to be a free 2 points is going to be turned into a contested layup that they weren't accounting for. And then from there, you're going to see someone who's going to have to change on the fly with the layup they didn't want to take and have to try to green that. That makes no sense. The layup wasn't even that tough in the first place. The other thing that could possibly come from that, let's say this thing actually works out and it's good. Then layups and go dunks, just running and dunking the rim running is going to be the method. You're going to get hit with some BS as a lockdown defender, or do a Rudy Gobert 7'1" center in the paint. Some 6'3" meta PG is going to come down the lane, hit you with the jelly fam layup, and you're not going to get the block animation because 2K is going to be hating. And you're going to be looking like, how in the world did they green an 89% contested layup? This is going to keep happening because it's going to be overpowered. There's nothing good that's going to come from it. It's either going to be terrible, and it's going to kill the inside game, or it's going to be overpowered, and it's not going to be good. So moving on from that, 2K is talking about new tools for offense and defense. This is something they say every year. It means effectively nothing. We're just going to tweak the game for the sake of tweaking it instead of building off what we already have. That's basically what that means. We're talking about what? Improved footwork, defensive counters. Yeah, okay, 2K. That's never going to work. Specifically defense. Defense in 2K has never been good. The games it is quote-unquote good, it's overpowered. The community doesn't like it. And the reason defense isn't good is because it doesn't have the mechanics. The game isn't built around defense, it's built around offense. You can even see it with just dribbling. Your player dribbles and moves faster than the defensive player can slide, which is similar in real life. You can move quicker downhill than you can laterally. But in 2K, people are moving laterally, dribbling the ball left, right, which is fun, quicker than any defender can defend. And there's also built into the fact where you can do certain moves where you can't get a body up on defense. So the system's going to be broken anyway, no matter how high your stats are. Good offense always beats better defense in 2K, especially on a casual to semi-competitive level. With that being said, I mean, it's like, there's no point until you fix the defensive mechanics, which it's not like there are many anyway. It's like 2-3 things. And to be honest, it's kind of stupid that you have to upgrade them in my career, except for, I guess, your on-ball defense, because who can't get a lane steal if they're playing the defense right? Who can't get a defensive rebound if they box down there in position? 2K just artificially limits you until you upgrade those things. And when you do upgrade them, guess what? You still have to do them. There's like 3 things you do. You hold L2, you hold the right stick, you tap square sometimes. As opposed to offense, you're doing 25 different things. Defense has like 3 systems. We're never going to see that system improve in 2K, I'm sorry. And next, we're talking about the builder, the My Player builder. Builds with new insights, fresh play styles, new rounds, My Player diversity, quality of life improvements to the builder. I guess that's good depending on what they add. We don't know yet, but we'll take that as a dub. Advanced tools, the ability to preview unlockable body type. I guess that's a quality of life feature. That's good. 2K's finally becoming a gaming company and realizing what they need to provide in their game that they had years ago that they don't have now. What else? Refresh play styles. Cat breakers returning. That's a dub or L depending on who you look at it, or depending on who's talking about it. For me, that's terrible. Once cat breakers were in the game, they're never going out. And what's going to happen is, unless they become more like a free-to-play game, you're already paying like $70 to $100 just to get the game. Then you got to pay for the season pass every season. And not only do you have to pay for it, you have to play it. Or you have to pay for the season pass upgrades. And if 2K continues how they're going, if you don't pay or play, you're going to get left behind, which is dumb. There's no reason that if I start playing the game in March, my players should not even be capable of being as good as someone who's been playing the game since October or September. Or in this year, August 29th, there's going to be what? You're going to be 8 seasons, which means 8 to 16 cat breakers behind because you didn't want to pay money, which is stupid. It makes more sense in a, I guess, live service game, similar to Destiny. But you know what? What happens in those games is there's a reset. Those aren't yearly games. 2K doesn't have time for a reset. So those who didn't get the year and couldn't become as powerful as possible, they can do it next season. And even those who didn't play out the full season and get the upgrades, they can still play at the end of the season and get them. In 2K, if you miss season 1, 2, 3, or whatever, and you start picking up in game season 7, you missed out on a lot of cat breakers. So you're going to be worse off than any other player who's been playing consistently on a game that comes out yearly. That's stupid. And you're just going to spend more money on something you didn't really want to have the same abilities you had other years previous. Takeover's coming back, obviously, and they streamlined progression, give you more control how you dominate the court. So it looks like it's going to be coming back faster. That's a dub. I don't know why 2K limited Takeover to get Takeover 15 points into a 21-point game. You can't use it at that point. I should have 12 of our points and not have Takeover, especially without the Takeover accelerator. I'm not grinding for it. My player build diversity. Okay, my player build diversity. This is something 2K talks about once again every year, and it means nothing. I guess the last 3 points, specifically this one, can really be summed up by what Joe Moe said. It's less about the builder and more about the gameplay. It doesn't matter how good or bad the builder is. If the gameplay doesn't mesh with the builder, if you don't like the gameplay, if the gameplay doesn't allow certain builds you can possibly make to thrive, it doesn't matter what you make in the builder or what the builder can potentially allow you to make. There's still going to be optimal builds. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be meta builds in every game but they're going to be slightly more meta builds, depending on how the gameplay works. For example, the jump from last gen 2K20 to last gen 2K21, a two-way slashing playmaker build that had like a 60-something overall 3 was viable because that build not only had the abilities to slash extremely well, play defense, but it could also shoot pretty consistently if you knew your jump shot timing, because the threshold to shoot a 3 was very low. You could shoot a 3 with a 70 and below in 2K20 and there was nothing wrong with it. Fast forward to 2K21, that game first came out on last gen. I'm over here looking at the thresholds from 2K20 and 2K21. I decided to make my 3-point build with an 84. I seen 84 in 2K20 was like, you had an 84, you had like, that's why a play shot was so good. You had an 84 plus in 2K20. But in 2K21, an 84 was mid. You were inconsistent from 3. So imagine you made that same two-way slashing playmaker from 2K20 on 2K21. You're not making a single 3. All that to say, 2 games with the exact same builders, different gameplay, different thresholds. Doesn't matter what the builder provides, it matters what the gameplay allows you to do. Going into that's the end of my cool stuff. My team, Triple Threat Park is back. I don't know how many people really care about that on YouTube. My team has essentially been the same thing, more or less, every year. It's a money hole. King of the Court. Looks like an event. A 4-hour time slot on Saturdays. Okay, that's cool. We're getting something. Getting more events in 2K. That's great. My career is obviously dying. I'm glad they're putting more effort into it. I was kind of upset to see in 2K25 there's almost no effort in my career. You can't even trade your player. You have to finish the season, wait until your contract expires, and hope you signed a 1-year deal so you can leave the team. You can see in 2K26 they're calling it Out of Bounds. They're talking about an immersive My Career prelude story. It sounds like it's going to be a prelude, so we're probably going to get a prelude before the game drops, which is going to be specifically Out of Bounds, and then we're going to get the My Career story, or the actual story. So it looks like in the prelude you're going to get to play probably some college games, just on some other secret information, rise your draft stock, maybe do a draft combine. They're saying there's potential consequences, or more consequences, with your story and choices that you choose while playing My Career. So that's good to see again. What you doing in the NBA? They're saying you can go through the draft process, get drafted by your performance. Okay, that's good. If you actually cared about My Career, it's no longer just picking your team. It's more of a story, more so than just a story throughout multiple seasons, a loose story throughout multiple seasons, I should say. So the draft is back, that's good. Consequences matter. So I'm guessing from that, since 2K has a year to develop, most of the gameplay is going to be, for My Career gameplay, is going to be at the front end of the game. They're probably still going to have the dynasty system or something similar to it, but most of the meaning cutscenes, or most of the meaningful cutscenes, are going to be towards the front around the draft and rookie season. So that's good. Going into my NBA, all 2 people that like that, that's the gameplay you play when you're tired of everything. That's dope. They're slowly making that better. Dynamic banners, more customization with unranked GM. The city is back. We all knew that was coming. That's pretty obvious. Honestly, I don't really have a problem with the city. At this point, the city is just the park. It is the exact same size as the park, has the same problems as the park. I don't know. I guess menus would be cool. That's just not the way we're going to go 2025, 2026. No game is a menu-based game now. You don't navigate through the menus now unless you're slowly catching up to building open world games. So, we're sticking with the city. I don't mind it because the city has faster load times than your favorite old Gen 2 games if you actually maneuver throughout the city, so that's fine with me. I don't really care. More ways to flex in the city. We're adding more clothes for you to spend $5 to $15 on. The park gets a makeover, that's cool. Gonna be focused on more natural and grounded scenery. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's too late to park because we have the game mode like theater that is effectively parked where you have 3-on-3 and 2-on-2 all the time, but it's matchmaking. You get games a lot quicker, so that's good. But we have a good alternative already. What else? Oh wow, we have. Okay, never mind. I thought I was saying something else. Going back to the city. The city is more intimate. This is what, the 4th year in a row we're talking about. My bad, the 5th, because 2K21 started it. The 5th year we're talking about the city is smaller than ever. So again, we're back to effectively the size of the neighborhood, which I guess we went back with. Who cares? That seems to be it. My overall thoughts, I guess, like the courtside report, like it's cool. I'm really surprised, like in 2025, going on 2K26, that there's still hype around the courtside report. But I almost feel like there's more hype in 2K around hating the gameplay and just the game itself and the developers than there is actual hype around the game. So it's got to be the only reason this stuff is still relevant. This stuff was made up in like 2K15. It was cool back then. We didn't used to get information. We just kind of find out like whenever 2K felt like it on YouTube. But now we're getting an actual concise overview. Would be great, but it doesn't mean anything because we ask for stuff all year. 2K kind of does it, and it turns out to not be what we thought it was. So if for whatever reason you're getting your hopes high based on the courtside report, I don't know. We've had years to see this. It's going to be the same thing every year. They try to, this is just marketing play. They come up with these big words. They have big bolded titles, hot text, big bold images, you know, all this type of stuff. And once you get drawn in by this stuff, it's up to you whether or not you're fooled. Because we know we're getting with 2K at this point. The layup meter should be enough of that. Like that right there should just tell you exactly what you're getting. If you're playing a game that is developed by the only people who can make this game, who are settled, who are not pushing new boundaries, and it really seems like the people who developed the gameplay when 2K was really good, they're gone. Because there's no reason we should have some of these mechanics. There's no reason the game should be this poorly optimized. There is no reason other than marketing greed, corporate greed. Even then, it doesn't cost 2K to make a playable and decent game. Imagine if they played or they made a playable and decent game still with the microtransactions. The game would be better. People would buy more. The fact that this game is so bad, gameplay-wise, optimization-wise, anything, it's just a testament to who makes the game now. Like, they're not inventive. They're not making good mechanics. They're just adding stuff that makes no sense. I don't know who they got developing this game. I don't know who they got greenlighting this stuff. They need to change quick. With that being said, that's the video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Let's do this. If you watch the full video, drop a dub or an L in the chat. Just let me know what you think quick. Let's start a debate down there. Let's get it.